Namaskaram. You see, today the world is too noisy. Everybody wants to be seen, everybody wants to be heard. But in all this noise, we have forgotten the simple truth. Growth happens in silence. Motivation is a beautiful spark. It feels like a surge of energy running through your veins. When you watch an inspiring video, read a powerful book, or hear the story of someone who overcame all odds, it ignites a fire in you. You feel like you can conquer the world. But as powerful as motivation feels in that moment, it fades. It's like a gust of wind, strong, sudden, but momentary. You cannot rely on it to sustain the weight of your life. This is why discipline must become your foundation. Discipline is not dramatic, it is not loud, and it does not come with applause. But it is consistent, and that is its power. You see, most people wait to feel good before they take action. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the right time, but time does not wait. Life does not pause because you do. In fact, life respects those who move regardless of how they feel. Discipline is not about doing what you love when you feel like it. It is about doing what you need to do even when your body resists, even when your mind complains. It is not a punishment, it is a path to liberation. The one who is disciplined is not restricted. They are free from the trap of mood and emotion. When you are motivated, you may go to the gym for 1 week, waking up early and training hard. But when that feeling fades, you sleep in. You miss 1 day, then 2, and eventually you stop. But discipline says, I show up no matter what. It is raining, I show up. I'm tired, I show up. I feel uninspired, I show up. This repetition rewires the mind. You no longer need to negotiate with yourself every morning. It becomes who you are. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. But if you only act when you feel like it, that muscle weakens. And slowly, life becomes reactive. You are tossed around by your emotions, your distractions, your comforts. The disciplined person, however, is steady. Their actions are not dictated by desire or convenience, but by clarity. They have seen the destination, and they walk toward it without needing applause or validation. There is great dignity in discipline. It is quiet, humble, and strong. It doesn't seek the spotlight, but its results are always visible in time. You will notice this in people who succeed quietly. They do not speak much about what they are doing. But one day you see the outcome. The fit body, the calm presence, the sharp mind, the disciplined life. And it's not because they were constantly motivated. It's because they did the work even when no one was watching. Especially when no one was watching. The truth is, discipline is not about being strict with yourself in a harsh way. It is about care, deep care. If you truly cared for yourself, your future, your peace, your potential, wouldn't you do what is best for you even when it's hard? Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It says, I choose what serves me, not just what pleases me. It means you understand the difference between temporary relief and long-term strength. Most people associate discipline with military-like rigidity, but that's not necessary. Discipline can be soft. It can be fluid. It simply means being loyal to the things that matter most. Whether it's your health, your craft, your learning, or your growth, if it matters to you, discipline is how you honor it. You don't need a crowd, you don't need a mood, you just need to show up every single day, quietly, steadily. Most people's mornings begin with a rush. The alarm rings, and before their eyes are even fully open, they are already racing through the tasks of the day. They check their phone, respond to emails, and perhaps scroll through social media, already becoming reactive to the outside world before they even get out of bed. This rush sets the tone for the rest of the day, scattered, disorganized, and out of control. But the morning is not just the start of your day. It is the foundation upon which your entire life stands. When you wake up in the morning, you are not just waking up physically. You are waking up to life itself. The first few moments of your day are crucial. They set the direction, the energy, and the quality of the hours that follow. How you spend those early moments determines your mental and emotional state for the rest of the day. If your morning is consumed by external distractions and reactions, you are already losing the day before it has even begun. The key is to establish a morning routine that aligns with who you want to become, not who you have been. A powerful morning is not about fitting in more tasks or packing the morning with activities. It is about creating space for the right activities that center and ground you These quiet moments allow you to step into your day with clarity, focus, and purpose, instead of simply reacting to whatever comes your way. This is the true power of mornings, the ability to create before you react. The first step is to disconnect from the external world as soon as you wake up. The moment your eyes open, resist the urge to reach for your phone or dive into the noise of the world. Instead, spend a few moments in silence. Simply be present with yourself. Focus on your breath. Feel your body. This practice, even if just for a few minutes, brings you back to yourself. It reminds you that you are not the thoughts that come rushing in, nor the notifications awaiting your attention. You are not a slave to the world. You are the master of your mind. The next step is to move your body. Physical movement in the morning is not just about getting your blood flowing. It is about setting the tone for your energy levels throughout the day. A quick walk, some stretches, or even a few minutes of yoga can help you connect with your body and release any tension that may have accumulated overnight. It's like preparing a foundation to support you through the day. When you move in the morning, you activate your physical energy and you send a message to yourself that you are ready to engage with the world. Not as a passive observer, but as an active participant. Following this, it is important to nourish your mind. Your thoughts are the lens through which you experience the world. If your mind is filled with chaos, negativity, or confusion, your day will reflect that. So take time in the morning to focus your thoughts. Read something inspiring, meditate, or journal. This is the time to fill your mind with intention. Instead of allowing the world to dictate how you feel, you create the atmosphere within yourself. This is your opportunity to set your internal compass, to choose your emotional state, and to decide how you will respond to whatever challenges may arise. Then feed your body with good nourishment. A healthy breakfast is more than just fuel. It is a reflection of your self-respect. When you choose to nourish yourself in the morning with whole foods, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of care. You are telling your body that you will give it what it needs to function at its best. This act, however small, is a reminder that you deserve to feel good, to feel energized, and to feel strong. It is a gesture of love and commitment to your own well-being. Finally, establish a sense of purpose for the day. What do you want to achieve? What kind of energy do you want to bring into the world? Set 1 or 2 intentions for the day that align with your values and your goals. This gives you a roadmap, a guiding light to follow. It ensures that you are not simply going through the motions, but are actively creating the life you want. A powerful morning is not about rushing through tasks. It is about creating a space where you can align with yourself and set the tone for the rest of the day. When you master your mornings, you master your life. The way you begin your day will always reflect the way you approach the rest, so make the morning yours. On it, fill it with intention, clarity, and calm. In a world where distractions are constant and the noise of everyday life is ever present, it has become easy to lose sight of the importance of creating. We are inundated with images, information, and updates from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. Social media platforms, news outlets, and endless streams of content can fill our minds to the brim, often leaving little room for anything else. In this environment, consuming has become second nature to most people. We consume information, entertainment, products, and ideas at an astonishing rate. But how often do we take the time to create? Creation is a deeply fulfilling act. It is not just about producing something tangible. It is about expressing yourself, manifesting your thoughts into the world, and engaging with life in a meaningful way. When you create, you are not merely reacting to the world around you. You are shaping it, contributing to it, and adding something unique to the collective experience. Creation brings a sense of purpose. It provides a direct connection to the present moment and to your inner self. But creating takes energy, focus, and intention. It requires you to step away from the constant stream of external input and to engage with your own thoughts and abilities. In a culture that glorifies consumption, it can be difficult to find the time or motivation to create. However, the most successful and fulfilled people are often those who have learned to strike a balance between consuming and creating. They consume in a way that enriches their knowledge and understanding, but they also dedicate time to turning their thoughts into action. This balance is essential because constant consumption without creation leads to stagnation. When all you do is absorb information or entertainment, your mind becomes cluttered. It can become reactive, always looking for the next piece of content, the next thing to engage with. You start living in a passive state where you are constantly receiving, but never truly giving or expressing yourself. This creates a sense of emptiness because you are not contributing anything of your own to the world. In contrast, when you create, you bring clarity to your thoughts. Creation forces you to think deeply, to organize your ideas, and to express them in a way that others can understand. Whether it is through writing, painting, coding, or any form of expression, creation is a way to distill the chaos of your mind into something concrete. It brings order to your internal world and allows you to contribute to the external world in a meaningful way. Creation is inherently empowering because it is an active process that requires you to engage your creativity, your skills, and your vision. It is a statement that you have something of value to offer. In addition, creation fosters a sense of accomplishment. When you produce something, whether it's an article, a piece of art, or a project, you can look at it and say, "Here, this is mine. I brought this into existence." There is a profound sense of satisfaction that comes from taking an idea and turning it into something real. The act of creation nurtures your confidence and strengthens your belief in your own abilities. It reminds you that you are capable of shaping your reality. But in order to create, you must first consume wisely. It is not about completely disconnecting from the world around you or rejecting all forms of input. It is about being mindful of what you consume and how it affects you. Choose sources of information and entertainment that enrich your mind and feed your soul. Select things that inspire, challenge, and expand your thinking. You are not here just to consume mindlessly. You are here to absorb what is valuable and to transform it into your own unique expression. When you take in what is truly meaningful and inspiring, it gives you the fuel and the raw materials to create something of substance in return. The process of creation also requires time. In a world where everything is expected to be fast-paced, it is important to set aside moments where you can focus solely on creating. This is not about rushing to produce something for the sake of it, but about taking the time to craft, refine, and express yourself fully. It is about enjoying the process of creation rather than obsessing over the end result. When you create, you give yourself permission to be in the present moment, to get lost in the act of doing, and to experience the joy that comes with bringing something new into the world. So stop consuming endlessly. Take the time to create. Whether it's writing, painting, building, or dreaming, create something that is truly yours. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about stepping away from the noise, finding your own voice, and sharing it with the world. When you engage in creation, you step into your power, and in doing so, you contribute to the ongoing dance of life in a way that is both meaningful and lasting. There is a pervasive urge in today's world to be seen, to be recognized, and to be validated by others. Social media, the rise of influencer culture, and the constant pressure to showcase one's achievements have led many to believe that visibility is the ultimate form of success. The more you are seen, the more you must matter. But this need for recognition, this constant craving for external validation, can be a dangerous trap. The more you seek to be seen by others, the more you disconnect from yourself. True growth, true mastery, and true inner peace do not require a stage, an audience, or applause. In fact, the more you seek to be known by others, the more you lose touch with the most important relationship in your life, the one with yourself. You see, when your sense of self-worth is tied to external validation, it is always subject to the whims of others. You can feel good one day because of a compliment or a like, and terrible the next day when the attention fades. This constant roller coaster of emotions can leave you feeling unstable, uncertain, and disconnected. The key to finding stability, peace, and lasting fulfillment is to be comfortable in your own presence, to be unknown to others, and yet perfectly content with who you are. It's not about rejecting others or isolating yourself from the world, but rather about realizing that your worth does not depend on their approval. True peace comes when you no longer need to prove yourself, when you can simply consider the power of silence and solitude. The greatest moments of insight, inspiration, and transformation often happen when we are alone, away from the distractions of the world. It is in these quiet moments that we are able to listen to our inner voice, or to connect with our true desires and values. When you are comfortable in your own company, you begin to see the depth within yourself. You no longer need to seek validation from others because you are secure in who you are. You learn that you are enough with or without an audience. In contrast, when we constantly chase recognition from others, we end up becoming reactive. We base our actions on what will impress others, what will get us the most likes, or what will earn us the most praise. But the problem with this approach is that it leads to a life of uncertainty. You are never fully in control of your own energy because you are always subject to the opinions of others. You may feel like you are constantly putting on a show, but deep down you know you are not living authentically. The person you present to the world becomes a mask, a facade, instead of your true self. When you embrace being unknown, you free yourself from this trap. You start acting not for the applause, but for the inner satisfaction that comes with living in alignment with your values. You pursue things that resonate with your soul, not things that will get you recognition or approval. You create and perform from a place of deep fulfillment, not because you need to be seen, but because you enjoy the act. This inner confidence allows you to remain grounded even when the external world is chaotic. Being unknown also means that you do not need to measure your success based on someone else's standards. The moment you begin to seek approval or validation, you hand over your power. You allow someone else's opinion to dictate your worth, but when you are comfortable being unknown, you are free from this influence. You define success for yourself, according to your own principles, your own aspirations. Success becomes an internal experience, not an external one. Moreover, being comfortable in your own presence allows you to focus on your growth without distractions. You are not constantly comparing yourself to others, nor are you caught up in what others think of you. This allows you to move forward without the burden of expectation. It is a liberating experience because you begin to realize that everything you need to be content is already within you. You can find joy and fulfillment in the journey, not in the destination, not in the recognition, but in the work itself. There is profound power in anonymity. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators have often been those who were content working in the background, away from the spotlight. They did not need to be seen to know their worth. Their work spoke for itself. And in time when the world was ready to listen, their contributions became undeniable. It is not the visibility that matters. It is the depth of your presence, the authenticity of your work, and the integrity of your actions that truly count. When you stop seeking recognition, you allow your inner light to shine in the most powerful way, in a way that cannot be diminished by the fickle opinions of others. So, embrace the unknown. Be at peace with being unseen. Find comfort in your own silence, for it is there that true growth, clarity, and strength are nurtured. It is there that you will find the courage to live authentically without the need for applause, validation, or recognition. When you are comfortable being unknown, you unlock the potential to live freely, powerfully, and in alignment with your true self. We live in a world where speaking has become synonymous with being heard. The loudest voices often get the most attention, and those who can speak with conviction are often the ones who seem to have the most influence. Yet, there is a profound truth that many overlook. Speaking is not the only or even the most effective way to influence the world. Listening, on the other hand, is where true wisdom begins. Most of us are conditioned to think that the more we talk, the more we communicate. We believe that sharing our thoughts, expressing our opinions, and voicing our beliefs are the only ways to engage with the world. But in truth, there is a far deeper and more impactful way to connect with life itself, and that is through listening. Listening is not merely the absence of talking. It is an active, intentional practice that requires full presence, attention, and awareness. When you listen, you do not just hear words. You hear the emotions, the intentions, and the deeper currents behind those words. You begin to understand the nuances of communication that go beyond surface-level conversation. True listening is not about preparing your next response while the other person is speaking. It is about suspending your own thoughts and judgments long enough to fully absorb what the other person is conveying. It is about opening yourself to the richness of the moment without the need to insert yourself into it. When you listen with presence, you are not just receiving information. You are also learning about the person who is speaking, about the situation, and even about yourself. Listening allows you to step outside of your own perspective and understand another's point of view. It opens you to new insights, new ideas, and new possibilities that you may not have considered. It allows you to become more attuned to the world around you and more receptive to the subtle truths that often go unnoticed. We often speak because we want to be understood. We want to express ourselves and be heard. But what if the true power lies not in being heard, but in how deeply we can understand others? When you listen deeply, you create space for others to express themselves fully without interruption or judgment. You provide them with the opportunity to be seen, to be acknowledged, and to be heard in a way that is rare in today's world. This act of deep listening creates trust, fosters connection, and builds a sense of mutual respect that cannot be achieved through mere words. Listening also strengthens your own awareness. When you truly listen, you become more mindful of your surroundings, more aware of the dynamics at play, and more in tune with your own thoughts and reactions. You begin to notice the subtleties in a conversation that you may have missed if you were too focused on speaking. You become more attuned to the feelings and needs of those around you, and this deepens your understanding of the human experience. The power of listening is not limited to conversations with others. It extends to listening to life itself. Every moment, every situation, every experience holds lessons for those who are willing to listen. Life is constantly communicating with us, whether through our own emotions, through nature, or through the events that unfold around us. Yet too often we are too busy talking, whether internally or externally, to truly hear what life is trying to tell. By quieting the noise, by learning to listen, we open ourselves to the deeper wisdom that is always available to us. When you listen to life, you start to notice patterns, synchronicities, and insights that were once hidden. You begin to recognize the subtle shifts that occur within you and around you, and this awareness becomes a powerful tool for growth. Life speaks in whispers, and if you are not paying attention, you will miss them. But when you listen deeply, you begin to hear the messages that guide you on your path. Moreover, listening is a practice of humility. It requires you to set aside your ego, to quiet your own voice long enough to hear the voices of others. It requires you to be open, vulnerable, and receptive. When you listen, you acknowledge that there is something valuable in what others have to offer. You recognize that your perspective is not the only one and that there is always more to learn. In this way, listening is an act of respect. Respect for others, for yourself, and for the world around you. In a society that values speaking over listening, this practice of deep listening is a revolutionary act. It is an act of awareness, of presence, and of connection. It allows you to engage with the world on a deeper level, to cultivate wisdom, and to foster relationships built on trust and understanding. When you listen, you not only learn about others, but you learn about yourself. You begin to see the world in a new light, one that is more compassionate, more mindful, and more aware of the subtle forces that shape our experiences. Listening, in its truest form, is an invitation to experience life fully, not as a series of words and actions, but as a rich, intricate tapestry of meaning waiting to be discovered. The quest for happiness has been a central theme in human existence. People across the world from every walk of life strive to find it. The question arises, if happiness is so sought after, why does it seem so elusive for so many? The truth is, happiness is not something that can be found or acquired externally. It is a state of being that must be cultivated from within. We often believe that if we achieve certain things or possess certain qualities, we will finally find happiness. The reality, however, is that these external markers of success often do little to bring true fulfillment. Happiness does not come from the acquisition of things, status, or validation. It comes from an internal shift, from a change in how we perceive and interact with the world around us. The first step in this process is to understand that happiness is not something that can be pursued directly. We cannot chase happiness as if it were an object that can be acquired. In fact, the more we chase it, the more it slips away. It is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it escapes. Happiness is not a destination, but a way of being. It is not found in achieving everything on your to-do list, nor in the next promotion, the bigger house, or the approval of others. These things may bring temporary pleasure or satisfaction, but they do not guarantee lasting happiness. One of the most important realizations in this journey is that happiness is not dependent on circumstances. It is a state of mind and it can exist regardless of the external conditions of your life. The key to this understanding is to cultivate acceptance. Acceptance of where you are, who you are, and what is happening in your life at this moment. Too often we resist life. We resist the challenges, the pain, the discomfort, and we believe that if only these things would change, we would be happy. But life is always in flux, and resisting it only creates suffering. When you accept life as it is, with all of its ups and downs, its unpredictability and impermanence, you find a sense of peace that transcends the constant need for change. This peace is the foundation of true happiness. Another essential aspect of happiness is gratitude. When we focus on what is lacking in our lives, we often overlook the abundance that already exists. We become fixated on what we don't have, what we haven't achieved, and what we have yet to acquire. But when we shift our focus to gratitude, we begin to see the richness of our lives as they are. Gratitude is a powerful force because it turns our attention toward what is working, what is good, and what is already available to us. It shifts our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance, and in doing so, it opens the door to contentment and joy. When we practice gratitude, we stop waiting for something to change in order to be happy. We begin to appreciate what we already have, and in that appreciation we find happiness. It is also important to understand that happiness is not something that can be achieved through constant striving. We live in a culture that values productivity, achievement, and success, often at the expense of well-being. We believe that if we work hard enough or achieve enough, happiness will come as a reward. But this mindset only leads to burnout, exhaustion, and dissatisfaction. Happiness is found in moments of stillness, in moments of being rather than doing. It is found in the quiet pauses between activities, in the simple pleasures of life, and in the ability to be fully present in each moment. When we let go of the need to constantly strive, we make room for peace and contentment to emerge. One of the most profound ways to invite happiness into your life is to nurture your relationships. Human connection is one of the most significant sources of joy and fulfillment. When we feel loved, seen, and supported, we experience a deep sense of belonging that is essential for our well-being. Happiness is often found not in what we do for ourselves, but in how we connect with others. Whether it is through acts of kindness, moments of shared laughter, or simply being present for those we care about, our relationships have the power to bring us a sense of purpose and joy that no material possession or external achievement ever can. Finally, it is important to recognize that happiness is not a constant state. It ebbs and flows like the tide. There will be moments of joy and moments of sorrow, moments of peace and moments of challenge. True happiness does not come from avoiding discomfort or difficulty, but from developing the capacity to experience life in all of its dimensions, to embrace both the light and the dark, the highs and the lows, with openness and grace. Happiness is not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to remain present and at peace regardless of what is happening around you. In the end, happiness is not something that is outside of you. It is a quality that resides within. It is cultivated through acceptance, gratitude, presence, and connection. It is found not in what you acquire or achieve, but in how you experience and engage with the world. When you let go of the constant pursuit of happiness and instead focus on being present with yourself and others, happiness naturally arises.